Welcome to Looking Within, a podcast to help you quiet your mind, settle your body, and see God's presence in your everyday life. I'm Julie. I hope our time together will help you to feel more grounded, whole, and filled with a growing desire to be a conduit of God's love and presence to the world around you. Now, let's begin. Today we begin week 5 of our series, Imagining a New Life and a New Story. During this season of Lent, we're paying close attention to the practices that formed Jesus' life, giving him a new story and a new life. This week, as we consider the practice of self-inquiry, our old story has worn out, we tell the story of Oskar Schindler.
In 1993, Steven Spielberg told the wartime story of Oskar Schindler in the movie Schindler's List. When I first saw the movie, I strongly disliked it. Too much graphic violence, portraying life and death in Nazi concentration camps. As the years have gone by, I've taken bits and pieces of the movie at a time. I don't think I could handle the entire movie in one sitting again. The last 45 minutes of the movie is probably my favorite portion of any movie that I've ever seen. It powerfully shows how Schindler's old story had worn out, and he had lived into a new story and a new life.
Let me refresh your memory about the life of Oskar Schindler. He was a German industrialist and a member of the Nazi Party. In 1939, Schindler acquired an enamelware factory in Krakow, Poland, which employed at the factory's peak in 1944 about 1,750 workers, of whom 1,000 were Jews. His connections helped Schindler protect his Jewish workers from deportation and death in the Nazi concentration camps. By July 1944, Germany was losing the war. The Jewish workers at Schindler's factory were in daily danger of being shipped off to the death camps. Schindler bribed SS officials to prevent the execution of his workers until the end of World War II in Europe in May 1945, by which time he had spent his entire fortune on bribes and black market purchases of supplies for his workers.
At the beginning of the movie Schindler's List, Oskar Schindler is portrayed as a man without any morals, thinking nothing of anyone but himself, getting rich by any means, swindling, bribing, cheating. By the end of the movie, he has completely changed. He spends the fortune that once meant so much to him now to protect his workers. One of the last scenes in the movie shows Schindler's Jews, his workers, thanking him for the protection he had given them. The war is now over. They are free, but he will be a hunted man guilty of war crimes. His workers give him a paper signed by all the workers telling of his protection for these Jews throughout the war. Upon receiving this love and thanks, he fell to his knees crying, "I could have done more. I could have saved more." He is a completely changed man.
Oskar Schindler had a new story and a new life. From an immoral swindler only out to make money to saving his Jewish workers by giving away all the money that once meant the world to him. The horrible circumstances of World War II, especially the death camps, forced him to see his old life had worn out, and he lived into a new life and a new story. He died on October 9th, 1974 in Germany, but was buried in Jerusalem on Mount Zion, the only former member of the Nazi Party to be honored in this way. And in 1992, he and his wife Emily were named righteous among the nations by the Israeli government.
This week we're considering the practice of self-inquiry when our old self has worn out. For Oskar Schindler, the catalyst for this self-inquiry, an observation that his old self no longer worked, was the war, the horror of what others were suffering. seeing the plight of others, can move us away from self-centered living to being more like Christ. At other times, we may see that our behavior harms those we love. That, too, is a moment of self-inquiry that leads us to the conclusion, I need to change.
Or it can be a less dramatic event, but just as powerful, like noticing that our life has become rather dry, lifeless, without meaning. When we no longer have a passion for getting up every morning, we realize that our old life has worn out. It is time for a new life and a new story. To no longer live for ourselves, but to live a new life for those who could use a helping hand. Let's think about this during our quiet moments together. In this quiet space and time, I'd invite you to gently close your eyes and to take a few deep breaths in and out, in and out. Hear the sound of the bowl calling you to look within. Let it center you. Let it awaken you to God's presence. Think about the joy or passion you have for your life right now. Is this a time for a change? Is there anyone near you that could use your help right now? We'll be back with you in about 2 minutes. Take one more minute to ponder, is it for just such a time as this that God has called you into a new story and a new life? I'd invite you now to take a few deep breaths in and out. In and out. Hear the bowl sound calling you back to this day. Gently open your eyes, remaining still for a moment longer. There are moments in life that cause us to pause and reflect about how we are living out our lives. They can be like that of Oskar Schindler. We see the hurt of those around us and know that we need to do something. Or we may see that our behavior is harming those we love. Or it can be as simple as losing our passion for life. All of these are part of that practice of self-inquiry, noting that our old life has worn out. What does this practice mean for you this Lenten season?
On Wednesday of this week, we take another look at the practice of self-inquiry, looking at our old life and seeing that it has worn out in certain places. We see how this works for Jesus' ministry as he comes with new wine and new wineskins.
And in a second bonus episode on Friday, we'll lead you in a guided meditation. As you take some moments to rest your mind and your heart, you can open up to the wisdom of self-inquiry. Is it time for a new story and a new life, driven by the needs of your world? Thank you for making time for your inner self today, for developing and enriching your relationship with God through reflection and discovery. Whatever you've experienced, carry that with you in the coming days. You can find more episodes at our website, Gloria-Dei, that's DEI.com/lookingwithinpodcast, or subscribe through your favorite podcast app. If you know someone who might enjoy and benefit from this podcast, share it with them. Your financial contributions make this ministry possible. To give, visit Gloria-Dei.com/giving. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next time.